Thanks, Colton, for joining me. This series is basically just firm owners sharing because I've come across just a ton of people who want to know more, and myself included. As a firm owner, I want to know what other people are doing. And I've found that most people who own their firms are completely open and willing to share what they've got going on, which is awesome because it's encouraging other people and it's helping them improve their firms and everything. So, yeah, I really, really appreciate you joining me and being willing to share what you're doing in your firm.
Yeah, thanks for having me on, Brad. I'll say too, I found the same thing and I got a lot of my I got a lot of good content from your stuff on LinkedIn. So I think that's how we got connected to begin with. So
Yeah, definitely on LinkedIn. And I'm glad, like I said, just glad it's encouraging people. That's why I put it out there. Hope that it helps. So tell us a little bit, just short introduction of yourself, and then also what led you to opening up your own firm.
yeah, a short introduction. I guess I've been married about 7 years. We have a 2.5-year-old and our son will be born in December. So we're about to have our
Nice.
second. So
Congratulations.
thank you. Yeah. And that's, so I imagine based on some stuff that you've said, it's maybe similar for you, but my family was a big reason why I started my own firm. So I started out in, just a classic public accounting firm, grinding 70, 80 hours a week all tax season. And then I got into summer audits and that turned into 70 to
Hmm.
80 hours a week all year and quickly became unsustainable with my new marriage. So at the time. So I made the jump into private from there on out and just found over the 3.5 years I was in kind of private, just doing your normal monthly close stuff. I really missed public accounting, but there were a lot of aspects of it I didn't miss. The hours, the type of clients I was working on, and just the way my previous firm did things. So that's when my wife encouraged me to start my own firm. So I did, and it's been a wild ride ever since. But now I'm still working a lot right now, but with my team growing, just the family life balance, especially with my 2.5-year-old, I took the day off yesterday and we just went to the park and stuff. And that's a big reason why I started the firm was to have the flexibility with things like that. So,
Yeah, having the control over when you get to pick, like, hey, maybe even work the same amount of hours sometimes, but you get to pick when those hours are and where they
yeah,
fall a little
exactly.
bit more.
Exactly.
Yeah. So what that looked like for you, was it side hustle? Did you jump in full time right away? Like, what that transition period look like?
Yeah. So I started it as a side hustle. January 1st, basically, I wanted to try out some taxes on the side for a tax season and see how it went. Um, it seems like everyone's kind of aware of this at this point, but there's a huge, now is, in my opinion, the best time to start a firm. There's a lot of CPAs retiring.
Hmm.
There's a lot of uh, just negative feedback out there too. So there's not a lot of CPAs. There's not a lot of good quality CPAs. And with just the remote environment, it's so much easier to start a firm. So I started on the side and just quickly found just it became unsustainable to do both. So had a come to Jesus moment with my wife where she was like, "Hey, you're working 40 hours a week for your firm and 40 hours a week for your day
Right.
job still. It's time to pick." So uh, made the jump full in there, and then that was probably about 6 months in to like officially forming the company. So then
Okay.
I quit my day job and jumped full in, which was
Yeah. So
scary.
started on the side, jumped full in after 6 months. When was that? That was January 24 and mid 24.
24, yeah. So
Okay.
June of 24 was when I officially quit actually, it might have been July. So about 7 months. But yeah, I officially
Yeah.
quit my day job and
Okay.
kind of
So you've
jumped
got
into
one
elevator
side
thing
hustle
full
tax
time.
season and one full time tax season under your belt.
Yep. Yep.
Nice. Yeah. Oh,
So
you said something in there too that I was gonna say something about, and then I completely forgot what it was. That's all right. Maybe it'll come back to me. So,
it'll come
what's
back to me
your?
later.
Yeah, exactly. What's your firm focus on? What's the type of work? What's the type of client?
Yeah, so that has changed a little bit in the past year.
Yeah.
It started out as anything that would, allow me to earn a living. So, accepted everything. So we've transitioned so our main focus, tax, bookkeeping, and advisory uh, for small businesses and individuals. So We do, like, as far as taxes are concerned, we do individual tax prep, S corps, and partnerships if they are under 5 partners and fairly simple.
Okay.
I don't do any of the. I got somebody the other week that had like 25 partners and a bunch of asset sales, and so yeah, we don't do that. So we stay pretty simple on the business side, but kind of specializing on the S corp side of things. And kind of do some tax planning there too. But then the bookkeeping and the advisory, I would say the bookkeeping is really to support our higher uh, tax clients, and then the advisory side. So what I found with a lot of the tax strategy and then also on the advisory, and I'm calling it that, like a lot of people would call it like outsourced CFO services and things.
Right.
Everyone
Okay.
defines that different. So
Yeah.
we stick with advisory, but I found you just can't rely on a lot of people's numbers, and then the strategy doesn't mean anything. So the bookkeeping is really just to support the other services. So
Okay. Yeah, I gotcha. And it did hit me what I was going to say. You said, it's a great time to open up your own firm, and fully agree with that too, because it almost seems a little too easy right now in terms of the customer services out there is horrible. And,
yep,
clients coming in, if you're personable and a little bit social and you can have a conversation with somebody and you respond to them, email, whatever, and
yeah,
have decent customer service, they're going to love you. I'm curious though, with more people, the more people I've talked to on LinkedIn, the more people like you within the last year, the last couple of years, launching a firm. I'm wondering when that's going to shift, and there's going to be more of us out there who are doing a decent job, and it's no
yeah,
longer like, oh, it's just super easy now. We're going to have to start differentiating ourselves a little bit differently. So,
yeah,
but right
yeah,
now it is. We got it good right now. Like it's not too much you got to
yeah.
do to impress clients at this point.
There's really not. I can't. I've had a couple situations this year even where like someone reaches out on the website and I respond that day and they're just
Yeah,
instantly like, "Oh my gosh, I've reached out to 5 accountants and no one's responded for weeks." Like, I'm sold.
yeah,
So,
yeah. That happens a lot. Yeah, I've seen that too. I don't respond the same day anymore. I've got the survey now, and then they book the appointment, and sometimes they complain about how far out that appointment is. But it's because I
yeah,
got like time blocked to do like the other work now. But still,
yeah,
they at least they've got an answer and they've got a calendar appointment, right? That's a lot
hmm,
different than a voicemail that I never heard anything back from, an email that no one ever replied to. They know, they have a next step, and so I think that that's huge because, like you said, so many people aren't even doing that with clients that are reaching out to them. It's crazy. And the partnership stuff, yeah, I've cut that down even more than you have. I'll touch a partnership if it's like husband wife basic. They accidentally set a partnership up or something.
yeah,
I've just found that the partnerships more so than the S corporations are messy. Like
yeah.
even if you
Even
feel
with
like it's
husband
going to
and
be
wife,
simple, they're
sometimes.
still doing weird stuff that I'm like, you probably shouldn't be doing that. And if you are going to do that, you need to go to somebody who really knows partnerships well so that they can get this
Yeah,
done correctly. Because I tell people that, partnerships, right? The great thing about them is they're very flexible. You can do a lot of crazy stuff with them in terms of the revenue and the losses and special depreciation and all that stuff. And because they're so flexible, they're very complicated. And
yep,
I never got a lot of experience in partnerships. And it's one of those things where it's like, I don't already really know how to do it. And I really don't want to spend a lot of time learning how to do it. And there's enough
yeah,
work out there that I don't need to. So
yeah.
why do it?
No, that the ones that I still do, I've raised the fee significantly because it is, like you said, they're so complex. Sometimes it just sucks up a lot more of my time, even just
Right.
researching. Sometimes probably fairly basic things. So
Yeah, yeah. And stuff you can't really charge for because it's like, well, it's not their fault. I got to research this just because I didn't
right,
already,
right.
have a lot of experience in it. So so that's the type of client. How about virtual, in person, both? How's the firm set up?
Yeah, so we're set up. Are you familiar with like have you heard of Cohatch? Like
I haven't
the
heard of that.
shared
No.
working spaces. Okay. So we're set up in a shared working space. I'm actually leasing an office
Oh,
next
okay.
month. Uh,
Yeah. It's just like a
so
WeWork or something, right? Yeah.
yeah, so we'll have a physical office. I meet clients a lot in person at that space and just rent conference rooms. So
Okay.
a lot of the tax work is virtual. Um, I still so with any tax client, especially if it's just, hey, we're doing tax prep and that's it. I just leave it up to them. They can come into the office, we can meet in person, or we can do virtual. Most at this point are just virtual. But any sort of tax planning, like strategy meetings, like CFO type work, I do in person for all that still.
Okay. Yeah, gotcha. So definitely doing both there. And then how about your team? How big is the team? What's that look like?
Yeah, so technically 3 part-time employees, 1 full-time, and then me. But one of the part-time is just light content work. So really, the main team is so David is my full-time like uh, tax preparer, bookkeeper, and
Okay.
then she's 10 to 20 hours a week doing kind of the client facing. She's sending out document requests, following up with clients, making sure invoices are paid, that sort of thing. And then I have another part-time bookkeeper as well. So,
Gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So you and the one other full time and then the part
mhm.
times. And then what's your revenue look like? What's that look like this year, 2025?
Yeah. So, 2025, we should finish out. The goal for the year was 200. We should finish out around between 240 and 250.
Nice. Yeah.
So, yeah. And then last year was about 80. So,
Okay. But yeah, I mean, you weren't even full time last year during,
yeah.
tax season. So,
Yeah.
but to go from 80 in the first year without a
Mhm.
full time jump, starting it on the side. I got to 90 my first year and I went in full time. So that's not bad. And then my jump from year 1 to year 2 was to like 180, 190. So, I mean, you
Okay.
guys surpassed that as well. So, yeah, that sounds good to me. I'm sure there's other people growing faster. I'm sure there's other people growing slower, but yeah, that's a real good jump to get. And then passing your projections too, right? Like
Mhm.
I had no clue, as I'm sure you didn't either, right? But
Mhm.
you're running projections, and you don't know if you can hit
Yeah.
those numbers, right? Like, oh, if I get 200
Right,
clients,
right.
but can I get 200 clients? I don't know. And so I went very conservative. So it was like, okay,
Mhm.
45,000, 90,000, 90 plus 140, 135, and then 180. Like that was my goal because I needed to
Mhm.
get to 180, and I was like, okay, I can supplement if it takes 4 years. That's what I'm willing to give it to get to what I
Right.
need to cover my bills. And 90 the first year, 190 the second year. And I was like, oh, great. Like,
Yeah.
so like, you got this goal of 200, you're going to get to
Yeah.
240, 250. I'm guessing that feels pretty good.
Yeah, and I mean, a big piece of that, right, is I knew I needed a full-time person on board, and that's kinda what I needed to pay their salary to. And, my wife quit her job in November of last year, so, I needed to
Okay.
maintain
Yeah.
our living.
So
But,
you had to grow a
uh
little bit quicker. Yeah.
yeah, I knew I wanted that full-time person on board. I don't know your experience. I got pretty tired quick of just doing it all alone the first year
Yeah.
with zero help. So, I mean, it was just me for the first year with no help, no part-time employees. So, I'm really excited going into this busy season. This will be my first busy season with a actual full built out team. So,
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. I did the first 2 years. So I launched in November and then tax season and a second tax season and the rest of that year by myself. So I did the
okay.
first 2 tax seasons by myself, and then going during the second tax season, I went from about 115 clients the first year to about 230 the second year,
Hmm.
and like I said, about 90 to 190 in revenue. But I had only planned to use 90 in revenue that second year, so I took like 40 of it and stuck it to the side and was like, I'm going to use that to hire somebody. That way, even if the revenue doesn't grow, I know that I still have the money to pay them. And so I
Right.
stuck that aside. And yeah, going into the third year, I was like, well, if I want to keep growing, I'm at my
Yeah.
capacity. Like year 2 wasn't bad, but I was at capacity. And I was
Yeah.
also still doing a lot of manual admin stuff. I switched to
Hmm.
TaxDome not too long after that and was able to automate a little bit more of the admin. I was able to improve processes too, not just from the software, but from things I was learning on, I mean, I went from billing half up front and half at the end to just billing it all up front in order to cut admin time in half. And
Yeah.
that was really the reason why I did it. I didn't mind getting half up front and half when I finished. It was just, this is double the amount of admin time sending out invoices. I'm going to switch
Yeah.
this to 100% up front. and nobody even cared. And so I was like, great,
Yeah.
like this worked out wonderful. And the two or three people asked me, and I just told them, I'm cutting my admin time in half. Like literally, that's the only reason why I'm doing it. And they're like, okay, whatever. And they didn't
Yeah.
care. So, but yeah, going into the third year was when I brought someone in to really focus on taking the admin piece off of me. And
Yeah.
then we improved some of that stuff. So he didn't really have to do too much of that anymore. And that's when I was like, all right, you're preparing returns now. And so he moved
Yeah.
into preparing returns because I had hired him full time. And it was my brother too.
Yeah.
So, it's like I hired him full time for that. And we had talked about doing prep as well. But yeah, moved him into that. And then he got a TA. And so, I mean, it's pretty good. It's worked out.
Did he have a tax background before that, or did you train him? Okay.
Yeah. So he had no background. I started him out basically just, hey, here's the tax forms, enter them into the software. And honestly, didn't even give him much feedback. I was like, hey, look, I'm sorry I'm not like training you or anything, but for now, just do this. And so he kind of learned that way. And then I'm not a super great teacher. So I was like, hey, study for the EA. That'll give you a good basic foundation of knowledge. And so he went through that, did it, and just going through that and then the repetitions and all the stuff, now, again, we didn't like go through like each thing as it went, but the follow-up questions and answering his questions and stuff like that. I mean, he's got a pretty good ability now to do most returns pretty, all the way from start to finish. So it hasn't been too bad. It's just time and asking questions and learning the stuff.
Yeah. I was just asking.
And having
so,
someone, to be able to like, give you the answers, right? Like having someone, above you to be able to help you out.
No, my team member, same thing. Doesn't have a tax and or bookkeeping background. Was a financial analyst before. So, but willing to learn, willing to work hard.
Yeah.
Trustworthy. So all the good things. So.
I used an intern that same year. So that was my third year. I brought him on mainly for admin, but then he was doing some input. And then I ended up bringing an intern on at the end of February, and she had no experience, and I just had her do input. So neither of them they didn't talk to the clients. They didn't send the clients anything. They just input what they knew, and then it came to me and I finished it up. And then the next year, I had my brother actually following up, like, hey, we don't have these forms, or hey, I've got these questions, because he was a little bit more comfortable doing that. And I had a part-time person who had some experience, so I let her email clients too. And that went, that changed the game, because I was getting data entry that was, anywhere from 30% complete to 90% complete if it was a fairly simple return, to now all the returns coming to me are 70 to 100% complete. And it was like, oh yeah, that's way better. And so having that experienced person kind of do the initial prep before I review it has been nice.
I didn't, so David was not with me during tax season, but he helped me with some of the October extensions. And I think I put off hiring someone for so long because I was like, well, what good does it, if a return's 50% complete, does that actually save me much time?
Right. Yeah.
And I realized this past month, like how nice it's been. Even if the return gets to me and it's only 40% complete, I mean, it's still so much time that I have back to be able to crank through them a lot faster.
Yeah.
So,
and then is he doing follow up with clients?
He will. He wasn't during the October deadline, but
that changes it even more, right? Because then, it's so it changes it a lot. You still will find, right, because they're not as experienced, so you'll find like, okay, they didn't ask this.
Yep.
But if you would have asked 7 questions and they asked 6, and now you only got to follow up on one thing, I mean, it's huge. Yep. It's so nice.
Yeah. I'm excited. So
look forward to that. What's your tech stack? What are you guys using? What are you using to prepare returns? How are you communicating with clients? What's that look like?
Yeah, so we're on all the Intuit. So I use Intuit ProConnect Tax solely because it's a little more expensive than some of the other pay per return models, but we didn't have the volume at first. But it also has a pretty good integrated and free advisory software.
Okay.
So we started using it because of that. So it's their cloud-based, I think Lacert, or they have a
They
like
got so many,
professional
right?
grade.
Yeah.
Yeah, desktop. But yeah, we use the online cloud-based,
Okay.
and then we stopped using this feature, but it can also like directly interface with QuickBooks, and seems to cause more issues though in our
Really?
experience. Say it again.
It does. Yeah, it didn't really
Yeah,
work that
it's
well. More
it
fixing
takes a lot
than
of
what it was doing.
yeah, so you can map all the QuickBooks accounts to the actual like sections of the tax return, but we found most people's QuickBooks are so screwed up to begin with. Um,
Yeah.
we're just having to remap stuff. It's easier just to print out the financials and go from there. Um,
That's what I mean. Like, but that stuff, right? Okay, I can see saving time if you can accurately get the data. I've played with a few tools, and honestly, it doesn't seem to save time in terms of like getting W-2s and everything into the tax return with OCR or AI technology, like whatever you want to use. I
yeah,
haven't been able to get myself over the hump to where I feel like it's worth it. Now I do also have good staff, so that's a thing as well. It's like, I mean, they can enter it in. So but on the business side, so by the time you putting the numbers into the return literally is a 5 to 10 minute process at most.
right.
It's getting the numbers right before you prepare the return that takes all the time. And so,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I can't see where it would be that beneficial, even less so on the business side of things, because all the work has to be done before you're even preparing the return just to get the financials right.
Yeah, and that's kind of what we found too. Now, I will say, ProConnect Tax, a couple mentors in the area that run firms, they started with it, and as they get more complex partnerships and whatnot, it apparently is not the best software. But for everything I'm doing, it's great. I mean, it's
Yeah.
easy. I think I don't know. Intuit seems to be making a lot of accountants mad right now, but I
Yeah.
still
Yeah.
love the products.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Well, I
so
started out
we
on
use
Drake, and a lot of people talk bad about that one, and it's like I really wasn't doing super complex returns in terms of
right.
what some people do, and so I never had an issue with it.
A lot of people like Drake. I've heard that.
Yeah,
As far as like starting out, because it's
it's super
like
cheap.
a good cost too. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
and it wasn't bad. I mean, it wasn't bad. I had several years of experience. I mean, I knew what I was doing. I wasn't relying on the software, but to me, is data entry. I mean, if I put the
yeah,
numbers in the right place, the tax return turns out right, kind of with any other
yeah,
software. So
yeah,
now I do like the
yeah,
diagnostics better on UltraTax. I do like I feel like I'm more efficient in UltraTax. There's definitely things I like better, which is why I'm paying more for it now.
yeah.
And it does handle states a little bit easier. And I
Okay.
could see like you said, I've seen people who are like, oh, if you've got 20 K1s in 20 different states, and it's like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Like, I don't want to do that
Yeah.
anyway. So, but I could see where if you're
I'm
doing
not
that,
either.
you want a better tax software.
Yeah, I pretty much stick to Indiana where we're at this point. I found it just takes too much time to research all the state specific,
Yeah.
tax ramifications. So
Yeah, that's one thing
I
I've
still,
started doing is cutting out the states that I will accept clients from. I started taking them from
yep.
anywhere, and it's like, I'm gonna stop taking them from there, there, and there. And then this year, I cut it down to basically 2 or 3 states that have income tax, and the 9 that don't.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Unfortunately, a lot of the states surrounding me in Indiana, I'll get those
Local
occasionally,
taxes.
and they're the worst.
Yeah, Ohio was
Ohio,
the first state I cut out. I stopped doing it
yep,
before any
yep,
other state. That and Pennsylvania.
yeah. I don't like New York either. Yeah, but
Yeah.
any states with like local tax, I started cutting those out. So I'm with you on that.
Does
Um,
Indianapolis have a local tax?
no,
No. Okay. For some reason, I thought Indy did, but like not the other cities or something. I thought there was one, but
yeah, Indiana's. I mean, I'm used to them, so maybe that's it. But Indiana's pretty easy. So
yeah, that's how I started in North Carolina, and it was one of the easiest you can do. Federal
yeah,
AGI, very rarely an adjustment, and then the
yeah.
taxes. One page.
You mentioned TaxDome. I use Firm 360. I don't know if you've heard
Okay.
of that one,
I've heard of it.
but
I don't know what it does, or I haven't like played with it or anything.
it's as far as text. I mean, that wraps up a lot of our tech stack into that because um, Firm 360. I do so it comes with a client portal where we do all of our internal document storage our clients upload all their documents to it. It's our management software. So like we track things on the project level within it. We can send, automated whatever document requests to clients through it. We do secure messaging through it. We do all of our invoicing. I don't know if I said that. But essentially any communication that we need to have with the client, whether it's sending them an invoice, message, documents, tax return, signatures, it's all integrated within the same software. So it was not starting out, it was definitely an investment. But I think it's like 800 a quarter. So I think TaxStone's cheaper than that, right?
Yeah, they've upped their prices. It does, like you said, communication, document storage, signatures, invoicing, if you use that, proposals, engagement letters. So all that's in there, and they got a couple of different tiers. I think I'm on the middle one, and it might still be a legacy pricing. I'm not sure, but it's like $800 a year. So
okay,
yeah, I think it's like 800, 1,000, 1,200 a year, maybe like the different options or something around those.
Okay.
Per person.
Yeah. So
per person.
that's
So is that your per user is 800 a quarter?
So that comes with 3 users.
Okay.
So currently,
so that
I'm
helps
not
it not
paying.
be that much more expensive. Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean that's been game changer. I can't imagine. Not even that I feel like we have some crazy client load, but I can't even imagine doing like half of the amount of clients we're doing without it. So I'm sure you feel the same with TaxDome. So
Yeah. Did you do your? Would you use the first year that you were doing it part time?
nothing. I was tracking everything in Excel. So
Yeah. Okay. I had a Google Sheet. So
yeah, that very quickly became a nightmare. So
yeah. Yeah, I did the first 115 in a Google spreadsheet, which was basically name, due date, and a drop down of different statuses, right? Like waiting on
okay, yep.
information or ready to file or filed, complete, whatever. And then like a little note section. And that was fine the first year. And I was like, okay, this isn't going to work for more clients because I can't quickly see. Then I went to Evernote. I don't know how I ever made that work, but I ditched Evernote in the middle of a tax season for Asana.
Okay.
And Asana basically was TaxDome. It was the pipeline view. So I had my stages. I was moving jobs through the stage. I could see how many people were in each stage very quickly, very easily. I really liked that view. And then I switched to TaxDome also in the middle of another tax season. And that, I ditched DocuSign, I ditched the portal I was using, brought all of that, stopped emailing clients. I mean, I was emailing clients my follow-up questions and waiting for them to email me back. And if they didn't, I would have to hit them again. And so being able to set up reminders in TaxDome, I was like, oh yeah, we're going to this. And saved money because DocuSign cost a lot when you start to exceed their limits on what you can send out during tax season in terms of signatures. And so yeah, saved money, got it all in one place, still had the pipeline view. And Firm 360 project management, is it like that too, where you're moving people through the stages? What's that part look like? That's my favorite part. Like if it doesn't do that, I couldn't use it.
Yeah, it looks different. So it's essentially tracked on the project view. So I have statuses for each project and tasks within each project. So like we'll filter all the tax projects. So I'll have a list of 100 tax projects, and I can see what status they're all in.
Okay.
And it's all so it's not a pipeline view, but it's really visually appealing to me. I'm a very visual person. It's all like I have each status customized with a very different color, and we can filter through and.
So same thing.
It's
right?
all
You've got where you can look at a dashboard and very quickly see like here's where people are at. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, that's huge.
Exactly.
And yeah. Go ahead.
I want to say it's the same with, so then I can also, this is what I'm working with my team on now, is just making sure we're actually using it and updating everything. Because like on a bookkeeping, like if I'm looking at all of our outstanding bookkeeping jobs for the month, I can see like, okay, these 5 projects are red, waiting on information from client. I can click into the project and see the individual tasks then, and I'll see like, 10 will be green. I know they're done. And there's 1 orange. Okay, that's the like that's what we're still waiting on. And they can like leave comments and things on it too. So I know. So
yeah, gotcha. Yeah. So it's a very similar feel. It just looks a little bit different, right? Because I've got the pipeline, so it's like, oh, everyone who's waiting on information is in this column right here, and there's a number of how many people are in there, and we essentially use that. There's tasks and stuff, and I think other people use the tasks way more than I do. Most of the time, I don't even have a task. The task is the stage that it is sitting in. So I don't even have it create a task. It's just if it's in that stage, you got to do it. And we sort the pipeline. You can sort it by name. You can sort it by a bunch of different things. I sort it by longest in that stage. So whatever's at the top is what's been there the longest, and we just work our way down the list. So that's how we prioritize what to work on. Is just whoever got in that stage first, they're the ones that get worked on first. So it's really first in, first out system.
And I think here might be the distinction. So TaxDome, because I've seen and heard really good things about TaxDome. I think the biggest reason why I went with Firm 360 over it was not the difference in the software. It was because Firm 360 was built out on that project tracking. So like I use for tax returns, I'm with you. We don't actually use the task too often because, like you said, the status is the task. Yeah. We use the other features a lot more for like the bookkeeping and like CFO clients, where like every bookkeeping client, we've got vastly different tasks because we're doing all sorts of other manual stuff for them. So that's where I feel like we do utilize those features more for the non-tax clients. So
yeah, and that's Jason Stats has out like a matrix too of like which ones work for the best, and TaxDome is in his like number one for just tax firms, right? And then I know 360 is in there, and I've heard also people will outgrow TaxDome, and I don't know exactly what causes them to outgrow it, but I've heard that. And then I did recently. I've only got about 4 right now. I want to try to build that back up, but I've only got about 4 bookkeeping clients, and I started using Keeper for that. So I don't use TaxDome for the bookkeeping. I use Keeper. But it's got a pipeline view just like that. But the month end close, like the way that it was set up, I was like, okay, this will help me get my other staff doing bookkeeping, because just like I do with taxes, right? I mean, I do it the same way over and over again. So I don't have a standard process written out. I don't have anything like that. So I was like, okay, this will help me walk them through like what you do for a month end close that I've just have been doing forever. So I just do it. Yeah. And it's like, but I can assign them to this. I can see where it's at. I can see what it's waiting on. And Keeper, I could build that out in TaxDome as well. But for $10 a month for the client, like I'm like, okay, Keeper's already doing it really well, and it integrates, which TaxDome is about to start doing that. It may already be doing that, where it'll integrate with QuickBooks and you can do some of the work in TaxDome. But that was another big benefit of Keeper is I can do the work in Keeper. I don't necessarily have to go into their QuickBooks to do some of the work. You can recategorize from there, reclassify stuff and everything.
That's cool. I didn't know you could do that. So
yeah. So that was why I kind of did it. And again, there's no like upfront, there's no cost for the thing. It's just $10 to add a client to it each month. And so it's like, all right, that's a no-brainer. But the other thing that I think I've heard is Firm 360, like better for team. Like again, I'm about to have clients that aren't my responsibility. I'm going to assign them to 2 of the other staff. They're the ones signing the tax return. They're the ones responsible for it. And I don't really know yet how to handle that. My current plan is I'm actually going to create their own pipeline. So each preparer would have their own pipeline, and whatever client is in that pipeline is yours. So that's the way I'm planning on doing it. There's probably a better way to do it, but that's what I'm going to do for now. Yeah. Whatever works, right? I mean, when you own your own firm, right? It's whatever works for you. Who cares what?
Whatever makes sense to you. Right? That's what matters. So
because in the middle of March, I really don't care if it works really great for you. I need it to work for me. Yep. So anything else you're using on the tech stack side?
I just started, and I think you use this. I just started playing around with Loom a bit from a like internal SOP standpoint. So like sometimes if, like this week, David was working remote and I wanted to show him a couple things, but he wasn't available. So I just, record a video and send it. And I think we're going to try to start saving some of those in our client files too. I'm trying to think. Our signatures. So Citrix Write Signature that's what's built into Firm 360. Same with payment processing. it's technically Stripe, but I just do it all within Firm 360.
Right.
Um,
Does Firm 360 do tiered proposals? Like a lot of people use
it
like
just
what, Ignition, or there's another one.
it doesn't. So I started again, idea I got from you, Brad. I'm sending out with my engagement letters this year. They'll pick their tiered level of service. So I don't send it. So all of my proposals, I don't really send out proposals. Uh, I'll just send them the engagement letter, and that's kind of the
Yeah.
proposal at that point. I'll talk through them. For some of my bigger monthly CFO clients, I'll do those proposals in Canva. But I mean, it's very few and far between on those. So
Yeah. Okay.
yeah,
Yeah. I've got the calculator that does like the 3 tiers, and then I just print that
hmm
one page to PDF. I get them to type in which level of service they want in a text box, and then they sign it. And then
yeah,
my proposal in TaxDome is just the engagement letter that says the pricing is on the proposal that you already signed. So all of those
yeah.
are canned, and they just go out automatically. TaxDome has it in beta. I don't think it's rolled out yet, but you can do 3-tier proposals by next tax season. So I got to decide if I'm going to keep.
Okay.
Well, I'm already re-onboarding people now, so some people are already getting the PDF with the 3 proposals on it,
hmm
the 3-tier option on it. But I got to at some point figure if I'm going to keep doing it that way, or if I'm going to start utilizing the proposals within TaxDome. See how it works.
Yeah, that's so same thing. Firm 360 released a proposal feature, but it does not allow you to select from multiple options at this point. So I've actually sent
Well,
that
how
to
do you
them as
have?
feedback.
What is it? If it's not letting you
So,
choose the 3 levels, what? How is it a proposal system?
so yeah, it's there. In my opinion, it's not. I sent them that
It's
feedback,
more
but
like an engagement
um,
letter, right? Like,
yeah, it's more like an engagement letter, just auto populate, but it already
okay,
has
they have to have
document
already
templates.
picked what they wanted, and you have to already know
Yeah.
the price to put in there. Okay,
So that's why I just use a document template, and I have a couple things I just fill in manually before I send it. So
gotcha.
yeah.
So with that, like, how do you set your prices? How are you calculating those for clients? How do you figure out
Yeah.
what the work's going to cost? When do you bill?
Um, I went with a bucket strategy. So it makes quoting really, I have not been burned yet. I mean, there's a couple clients I'm over budget on, but it's very few. I do all, so like for individual tax returns, I have like criteria on like levels 1 through 5 to where, um, I mean, it's pretty easy. So like if they're a W-2, they don't itemize nothing else, it's $500. The second they add, you know, itemize any investments, rental property business, etc., they jump up to 800, and then from there it's pretty much the business and the rental properties that jump them up to other tiers. Like the $800 level includes one business, one rental property. Once they
Okay.
start getting over that, they jump into some higher buckets. So I'm not like, I don't do it by form necessarily or by time. I'm just looking, hey, overall, what do they have here? And I would say 90% of my clients fall into that $800 tax prep category, or if they have over the one business,
So
one
it
rental
might be a Schedule
property.
C, or it might be a Schedule E, but it's kind of one
Correct.
other
Yep.
thing on top of that. Okay.
Yep. But then if they start layering a bunch of stuff on, then 90% are like 800 or 1200, and then from there on, they can. I mean, that's for compliance only.
Yeah.
So then, if they want year-round support, that's a higher fee, and then if they want mid-year tax planning, that's a higher fee. And I think you do
Okay.
something real
Yeah.
similar
So your
there.
tiers
So
sound just like mine. Yeah. Basic
yeah.
compliance, year round, question answer
Yep.
advice, and a planning forecasting appointment
And I just
are the
changed that because
basics. Yeah.
especially with having staff on board now. I mean, $800 for a tax return. I used to just, you know, eh, I got tired of answering calls and emails all year round and not like getting paid for it. So
Yeah.
I'm just giving people the option this year to pay up front, and um, hopefully that'll cut down on some of that. So
Okay. Yeah. So you've got those 3 tiers, and so that they're in that category, 800. Then you'll add
hmm
something for the middle category. You'll add something for the top category. Let's say they pick the middle with year round support. When do you bill
hmm
them for that? Maybe it's $1,200.
so
When do you bill them for that?
yeah, so I just went the opposite route as you. So you said you just went to billing it all up front. Uh, from the beginning, I've billed at the time of service. So like I'll send them their 8879 a copy of their tax return and invoice, and then the tax return is locked until they pay their invoice. So that's a fun feature of Firm 360 that
Yeah.
some clients hate, but I
Yeah.
love. So they get all three of those at once. So payment was kind of like at the tail end. This year we are taking
Did
a
they
small
already know the
retainer.
cost by that point? Had you already given them? I'm guessing you had
Yes,
already given
yeah,
them the price because you're not basing it on forms or anything. So you can price
yeah,
up front the way you price.
yep. We are taking a small retainer fee this year up front
Okay.
with the engagement letter. So we're saying, hey, to lock your spot in, it's $150 for individuals, $250 for businesses.
Okay.
It is. I had a couple clients last year. It's like I followed up with them. I filed the extension automatically and just never heard from them. So that retainer is essentially if someone ghosts me like that, it at least covers the staff costs. I'm not following up with people anymore, but my team, it'll cover the cost. So then we're not losing money on those people.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, that's the thing. I mean, like I had one, she never paid. So I do the 100% up front. So I don't start working until they pay and sign the engagement letter. So those two are in the same step. And then they fill out the organizer, do the documents. So
okay.
so they don't even get the organizer until they sign the engagement letter and pay. Then they get the organizer. They fill that out, upload their documents, and then
Hmm.
it tells us it's ready to work on. And one of the people that was on the list, she had signed the proposal. I think she had signed the engagement letter, but never paid the invoice. So it never gave her the organizer. She was getting reminders for the invoice. I did file the extension for her, I think. And then, which means I must have gotten last year's tax return. But then she was one of the ones a couple weeks ago. I was like, if I don't hear from you, I'm just going to assume that you're not using me because she never paid the invoice. But now there were other
Yeah.
people that I hadn't heard anything from. I had no documents at the beginning of November, or I keep saying November, at the beginning of September. I had no documents for them, had no organizer, but they had paid me in full. So I was like, well, I know they're going to use me because they've already
Yeah.
paid me. And then I also feel more responsibility because it's like, well, if they've paid me, I really want to get it done on time.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah.
then I started emailing with read receipts, and then I started, it got down to a pretty small list before I started this, but last Friday, there was like 5 or 6 left. And that's when I started texting people like, I need it today. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if you've seen my emails. I don't know if you've seen my reminders. Here's a text message. Give me your stuff.
Yeah. Yeah, I go back and forth on that because I find like I was doing someone's tax return like literally at 10 o'clock the night it was due. Because like you said, like she's a good paying client. And like I
Yeah.
want to, but also you have to draw the line somewhere, and I don't do that the best sometimes. But
It's kind of
uh,
like, I mean, I'm in the same boat. If it's like one,
yeah,
okay, I can get it done. If I was starting to have more, you'd have to draw the line, right? And be like,
yeah,
look, I can't have 5 people do this. Like, it's not going to work. So,
yeah,
and again, the more you like the client, the easier it is to be like, all right, I'll get it done for you, but don't do this
yeah,
next year.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I think if I didn't take the 100% up front, I would at least. My thought, I was going to take a deposit this year at the time they signed the proposal, and I decided not to. But because then I'd be getting deposits like right now as they're like signing the proposal. I was like, they already pay in January. Like the vast majority of my clients already pay in January, so that's fine.
Yeah.
And so, but my thought was a $250 deposit. At least
Hmm.
$250 would be enough to make it worthwhile if we've got a return to prep and you just flake and don't have us prepare
Yeah.
it.
Well, and I don't know. So this was actually my wife's idea. She's pretty wise sometimes, but so now having a full staff load, November and December are like fairly dead months. So we're actually sending all our engagement letters out in November this year and collecting the deposit, which I'm sure half of those will trickle into December. But uh, it'll also help with our cash flow in
Yeah.
November and December. Just even meeting payroll, just shifting some of those dollars into the fall. So
Yeah. I had a friend here in Orlando did the exact same thing maybe 2 seasons ago. He started taking deposits and he
mhm,
did them in the October, November to help with the cash flow piece.
yeah,
And I forgot what he said his at, but accelerated a bunch of cash flow by doing that in
yeah,
slower months. And same reason, right? He had a bunch of staff. He had several staff that he needed to pay, so he was trying to get the cash flow forward.
Right.
Mine's not that intensive, so I just make sure that when all the cash comes in January, I just hold enough to last me through the last couple of months.
Yeah.
And then take my final distribution in December when I know that January is right around the corner again.
Right. Well, hey, I actually have a client meeting at 4 here, so I gotta get going.
Oh yeah, gotta hop off. But yeah, well, I appreciate you sharing. Man, that was a couple other questions I had, but I understand, and I didn't realize it was that long either. But appreciate you sharing with everybody, with me too, and just I could talk all day about this stuff. I love just connecting with other firm owners. But thanks, Colton.
Same,
really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me on. It's always good to hear from you too. I mean, as I mentioned, I got a lot of ideas from you, so keep doing what you're doing.
Yeah, appreciate it. Thanks.